Hello everyone, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink, and I finally cut into some pattern paper. I actually showed this Yes Please pack from my mind's eye in a haul forever ago. I don't even know how long ago I showed it. And I have been hoarding it ever since, but I was doing a live stream today and was just kind of brainstorming how I wanted to make this card. I had the dies picked out, and then my eye caught this paper, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna use it. So I die cut one of the striped papers in the pack with one of the largest die from the My Favorite Things Blueprints Die-namics 1 set. And then I have this cool paper here, and I'm die cutting it with one of MFT's stitched rectangle dies, and then the large lock die from the new Lock and Key Die-namics. And while I ran that through, I realized that the side of the paper there was that large portion that had the foil, which was perfect. So I ran the keys from that set through it, and then there was enough space left over once I popped the die cut keys out of the dies. I was able to trim down that paper and get a third key die cut from that because I want to add these to the inside of my card. So I get all my die cutting at once so I can get my machine out of the way here and actually get to making this card. So my camera has a little trouble focusing when I work with anything foiled because the reflection, it just kind of throws my camera for a loop. But thankfully today wasn't too bad. But yeah, the pictures at the end kind of do a little more justice to this. But for my main piece here, I purposely die cut the lock area higher up on it. I didn't center it because I wanted to stamp a sentiment from the coordinating No Place Like Home stamp set. So I got that positioned on my block, and I treated the bottom of the cardstock there with my anti-static powder tool, and I'm inking up the stamp with a Versamark ink. And same thing, when I was doing my brainstorming and all that, I made sure this stamp would fit on this die cut. So everything just went, this video went so much more smoothly when I had everything kind of planned out ahead of time. I need to do that more often. But yeah, I stamped the image with Versamark ink, and then I used Simon Says Stamp Ultrafine Gold Embossing Powder. It was the closest gold I had in my stash to kind of coordinate nicely with the gold foil on this paper, because there's so many different shades of gold when it comes to embossing powder and sequins and all that stuff. So I coated it with that and then heated it with my heat tool until it was melted. And then I funneled the remaining embossed powder back into the container. And then I removed the anti-static powder just by rubbing my fingers against the paper there. And now to create this into a shaker card, I just grabbed a piece of acetate from my stash. And the last shaker video, I mentioned this acetate. I bought a box of it from Amazon eons ago, a huge box of I think like 100. These are just overhead transparencies that I use, and I've been cutting these down and using these for years, and I still have probably half the box left. So that's what I like to use for window cards and all that kind of stuff, and shaker cards and all that stuff. So I flipped over that pattern paper and I used my Xyron Mega Runner to apply the adhesive. I got an email about this the other day, someone asking me about this. And I was like, I don't reach for this often enough. I really love this adhesive applicator. It is super sticky, FYI. And it goes down in little dots, not in a strip of adhesive. And I like that because I actually use that to adhere the little keys because it just adheres dots. So the only thing you need to pay attention to with this is you use it a little slower than you would some other tape runners. So I use that to adhere the transparency to the back of the pattern paper there. And then I trimmed down a piece of MFT's Primitive Cream cardstock. That was the closest color I had in my stash to this pattern paper because it's not black and white and gold, it's black and cream and gold. So trimmed down that piece of cardstock, and then I doubled up my foam tape here. Makes shaker cards so much faster and easier if you just double the foam tape up ahead of time. Why I never thought of this years ago, I don't know. But now that I do it, that's why I do more shaker cards, because it's just quicker. So I applied a generous amount of the foam tape and created a smaller section in the center there because I didn't need the whole, putting foam tape just around the edges, because then I would have to add like 5 times as many sequins since you only see that one little area. So I'm using some pretty Pink Posh gold and some pretty Pink Posh onyx sequins, and I dumped the Studio Katya sequins all over my desk. So I picked those up, and these were the Studio Katya Shimmer Clear Mix that kind of are a more ivory color. So I thought that'd be perfect for this mix. So once I got those all poured in there, I was able to back my shaker with that cardstock. And then here you can see I'm using my Mega Runner just to apply the adhesive to the back of this die cut key. And I just used the scrap of pattern paper there to pick up the remaining adhesive. So the dots just apply to the back of the key, and the rest of it just sticks to the scrap of paper, and it's good to go. So I'm able to adhere that one key right over that window I created. I thought that would just kind of give it a nice little touch. And then I'm going to use that same adhesive to adhere the shaker to that pattern paper I had die cut in the beginning. So get that all lined up on my grid sheet and then center this shaker onto that pattern paper. And of course it's striped, so I love it. And yeah, my card base is the same primitive cream cardstock. It was just a sheet that I had cut in half, so it's 4 1/4 by 11. So I'm scoring it at 5 1/2 with my Teflon bone folder. So it'll be a top folding A2 sized card, making sure everything lines up, which it does. So now I can adhere this card front to my card base with my tape runner again. And like I said, this stuff is super sticky. It adheres so well. And I really like this. I reach for my ATG just out of habit after so many years of using it. But I really do like this tape runner. So once I've got my card front adhered, I'm going to finish off the inside. So I've got another sentiment from the No Place Like Home stamp set, and I'm inking that up with VersaFine Onyx Black ink. I'm going to stamp that onto the inside of my card, and then those 2 remaining die cut keys, I'm going to apply some adhesive to each of those. And this time I just applied just a little bit of adhesive, like to the top, the middle, and the bottom of the key, because you don't really need very much. I'm going to press that into place and then do the exact same thing with the second key. Let's get the adhesive on there, and I can adhere that to the inside of my card, and that finishes off the inside. And then as a final little touch with this card, I have the coordinating embellishments for this pattern paper, the Yes Please enamel shapes, which I've also been hoarding since I got this pattern paper. So I finally broke it open, and I applied one of the like glittery gold hearts and then a few more of the enamel dots to finish off this card, and that's all there was to it. So it's all fun and shaky, really quick and simple card. So, and I just love the black. I love this color combo, and the foil just makes it all pop. So as always, I will have links below the video to my blog post, links to all the supplies used, so check that out below if you are interested. Thank you all so much for watching, subscribing, and thumbs upping my videos, and I will see you all very soon in the next one. Bye!